Hi, we're Desperate Journalists and you're watching Forge TV.
Rehearsing her descent.
Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us.
No worries.
So last time you was in Sheffield, you was here for Tramlines. How's it being back in the city?
Yeah, it's really good. We always have a good time in Sheffield. Probably one of our favourite cities in the UK to play, to be honest. Yeah.
Bloody cold.
It is. It's extra cold today. Yeah. So compared to Tramlines, the Record Junkee is quite an intimate venue. Would you say that you prefer to be like more close up to your fans than being on like one of those massive like festival stages as such?
I'd say that we haven't really played a huge amount of festival stages, but I personally do prefer playing just slightly smaller gigs, but where we headline, it just feels more comfortable to me. I don't know what you think, but...
Do you feel you have like a better connection with like the people that come and watch you?
Definitely, yeah. You can definitely sense that more in a smaller place, of course. Yeah.
So your third album is out on the 22nd February, and we've already heard two of the songs from it, which is Ciders and Satellite. How's the reaction been to those two?
I think it's been pretty good. We are interested to see what everyone thinks of the next album, because it's a lot more upbeat in tone than the previous album, which came from a very sort of dark place. So yeah, I mean, people seem to have been very receptive.
Because the two songs that have come out, they're fairly easy to listen to. Like you can get like quite carried away with like listening to them. Like they're not so much like really good background songs to put in, but it is something that you can like generally put on the background, enjoy what you're listening to, and like really crack on with like other stuff.
Yeah.
Is that something that you was like trying to aim for, like within the song?
I mean, what we we are a pop band, so we want things to be immediately, you know, sort of pleasant, but they're also, you know, we want to go for an intensity as well. So it's really good that people seem to like things that we do in a sort of pop leaning way. You know, it's not supposed to be particularly confrontational. So yeah, that is.
And because the Satellite only came out on the 11th of January in America, it's saying.
Yeah.
So how have they been going down at the live shows as well?
I think we might have only played Satellite live once so far, and it went down really well. I really enjoyed it, but yeah, and also it's been played on Radio 1 and Six Music, so that's really good as well.
You notice Hugh Stevens been picking it up the last
yeah,
couple of nights.
Yeah, it's really positive to see that, yeah.
And that must be quite a special moment for you to perform it live for the first time. Like, how is that to do? Like, you've been in the studio with it, you've heard it yourselves, but then to actually play it to someone, like...
Kind of nerve-wracking, mostly.
Yeah.
I think, like, whenever you start playing new stuff, it's sort of both exciting and terrifying at the same time, because when you're playing old stuff, you just sort of know it and you have muscle memory and just you can play it and you can think it sounds rubbish, but it's usually fine. But when it's new, you don't quite know what is actually fine until you've sort of got it under your belt a bit.
Are you...
It was my favourite one to play at the last gig that we did. I don't know, there was something about it just coming to life, or something weird. It sounds really cheesy like this, but because we'd only played it to ourselves or in the studio, and it really made sense to play it loud, you know, in front of people. It was my favourite moment.
Was there any parts of the song that you wasn't expecting to get as big of a reaction from the crowd? Like, as you was playing it through, is there something that was like, oh, I didn't expect that to really get them going in that part of the song?
I think to be honest, the first time people hear a song, it's never going to be the amazing moment that you could imagine in your head.
It wasn't released.
Really, the joy was probably mostly for us, and from the audience, it's curiosity, and then just they just stand there and be like, well, this is new, and they just take it in.
Yeah.
But hopefully, the second, third time, they'll enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, it's more like you're being judged.
Feel the judgment of the crowd on your first song.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it goes down really well tonight as well here at Record Junkee. She formed in 2012, and you're now releasing your third album. How would you say you've grown as a band together over the past few years?
Oh, we hate each other so much. I think quite a lot. So, I mean, I guess Kaz, when she first started, learnt the drums to play in this band, and so like that's been a massive sort of progression, because I mean she's always great, but now she's probably the best drummer I've ever played with, and so like I think that's kind of underpinned a lot of the progression. And I think like there's a natural sort of getting older and just feeling slightly more relaxed in your own skin sort of thing, which I think's kind of become apparent with this album. I think there is something a bit more kind of relaxed about it and sort of comfortable, and this is kind of what we want to do. Whereas I think some of the other stuff was a bit more abrasive. And I think, but apart from that, like not much really, to be honest. Like we still kind of drink the same amount.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, not so much. Not so much.
I would say I think we've learned that we've learned to sort of understand each other very intuitively as musicians. So we sort of write things. It's sort of like an unspoken thing. Like we know what each person is good at, in sort of very technical ways about stuff that we write. So we sort of have. It's sort of like we've become a symbiotic unit. A fungus, yeah. A like benevolent fungus of a band.
And
yeah.
oh, sorry, no.
I
Carry
think
on.
that's just from like spending so much time together, and we have had the sort of phase where we have loads of little rows with each other, and now we just sort of all coast along. It's not very exciting, but we do. We just.
But it's just a way of like band, like getting to know each other, like
Yeah.
really getting in, like stuck in the studio.
We were all like friends before we were in the band, so
Yeah, that helps.
we all knew it. Like Simon and I have known each other for years and years and years and years. So we've all. It wasn't like I think a lot of bands are. You get in a band and you have to like develop a relationship. Like the band as a relationship is kind of, it's there, but there's also a relationship anyway. So it's obviously they kind of crisscross over one another. But I think the relationship-wise, obviously stuff's changed, and it's changed partly because of the band. But it wasn't like an entire new thing, just a random group of people stuck together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has helped.
I mean, yeah, for example, before we did this band, I was in a band with Joe. I lived with Rob before the band, and I now live with Kaz, so...
And your music's
Yeah.
your music's getting picked up by the BBC now as well. Like as you said, it's been played on BBC Radio 6, and Hugh Stevens has been playing it as well. Like that must kind of be like a massive pat on the back kind of for you. Like it's getting recognised, it's getting played, and like it's getting reached out to like more and more people. Like that must make you feel quite happy with how things have started going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great things. You get like your friends sending you a message saying, "Oh my God, I've heard you on the radio." Yeah, that always, and it still
like a
makes
little
us
buzz.
very, very happy every time I hear that. I feel really proud of us.
Yeah. I mean, well, the other night I was out for drinks with work, and they were saying, "Oh, you're in a band, like, how's it going? Have you ever been played on radio?" So obviously, it's like, "Oh yeah, yesterday I was played on Radio 1. Oh. But you've got to enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah,
Honestly,
definitely.
oh yeah, the other day. It was just already yeah, I have work colleagues who listen to Six Music like all the time.
Oh, okay.
And there's a few people who I work with who will just like send me an email being like, "Just heard your band." I'm like, yeah, it's nice.
It must be quite a special moment to experience that.
Yeah.
And your current string and tour dates ends in Germany for 3 days. How are the German fans? Do your UK fan base have like an edge over them, or how would you describe them as any different?
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't describe the fans as much different. Like they're kind of, I mean, there are people that are like us and come to see us and get us, and they're kind of the same in the UK as they are in Germany. I think like the main thing about Germany is often just the venues and like the way they sort of treat you and stuff is just sort of.
There seems to be more money.
Yeah, there's like more cash. So.
Yeah, cash, I think, which has probably been invested by governments or councils or whatever, whereby everything just runs smoothly, which I think is lacking from the UK a little bit, which might be why we're doing this interview in a toilet, or it might not be, but I'm happy either way.
This country.
Well, thank you so much for letting us come and chat with you, and I really hope the gig tonight goes well and the rest of your tour dates do as well, and obviously the album.
Thank you.